My name is Patricia Noble, and I'm the Band Booster President, and thank you all for coming this evening. And I'd like to introduce you to our moderator, who's our former mayor of Palm Springs, and it's Mr. Will Kleindienst.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here. I have been involved in politics in the past. I've been out of the arena for over 10 years, and I got a call last week while traveling from an old friend asking me to come here and help moderate this. So I thought with my years of experience, I could at least help facilitate what's happening. Before we start, I just want to do a little bit of a story, and then we'll do a Pledge of Allegiance. I want to take you back to the formation of the country when the founders were seated around the table trying to assemble that document that would govern a nation that had never been thought of before. And one of the fundamental practices of the government that we now enjoy is that the people would choose their electeds. And a process would be put into place where we, the citizens of this great country, would choose fellow citizens to serve as our leadership. And it gives each of us the opportunity to see, hear, experience, and hopefully support a fellow citizen who can provide the governance to move our city, state, schools, nation forward. It's an amazing process, one which I will caution you, at the time of the formation of the country, the founding fathers were not sure it would work because it had never been tried before. Today is evidence that it does work. I applaud all of you as citizens to come to the forum, and more importantly, I applaud any citizen who raises his or her hand and says, I would like to serve. PSUSD for years was served by an elected body that were at large, meaning they were not assigned districts. That changed in recent years, so today you are looking at 3 potential districts seeking to elect their next representative. District 3, would you from 3 raise your hand? District 4 has 4 members. We don't have at this time Magdalena. If she does come, we'll let her join us whenever she gets here. And we have 2 representatives representing District 5. Potentially, understand the importance of the election, with 3 seats available and 1 incumbent. You could have the return of the incumbent and 2 new, or in another scenario, you could have a complete new majority of first-time electors. So this is a very significant election, and I hope you all enjoy what is about to occur. It is so important that people do get involved in the election process. There are cards that have been passed out. Is it closed for cards, or are we still taking questions?
I think they're still taking questions.
All right, we're still taking questions. The gentleman in the red t-shirt will, if you raise your hand, will run a card. You can write it down. We've got a number of them, and we'll have as much time as we can to pose questions to our candidates. I'll review quickly the guidelines in establishing the forum tonight. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to present an opening statement at the beginning and 2 minutes to present a closing statement at the end of the forum. The trustee area candidate who presents first is based on the lowest card drawn, and we have drawn cards and I have the sequence before me, and we'll go through these things in a sequence based on a random selection. The order of answering questions will be randomly rotated through each trustee area, with the candidates from the areas answering consecutively from the same block. We will do our utmost to make sure the process is fair and equitable as possible. All audience members' questions must be in writing. All questions must be issue-focused and may not be directed to a specific candidate. Personal questions or attacks on any candidate will not be acknowledged. Before reading aloud by myself, they will be screened for relevance to avoid duplication and to assure adherence to the guidelines and the ground rules. All candidates will have up to 2 minutes to respond to each of the questions. Verbal interaction between audience and candidate during the forum will not be permitted. The forum is a neutral territory for sharing philosophy, ideas, and information. It is not for campaigning. On the written guidelines for your questions, the audience members' questions must be in writing. The moderator will read them aloud. All questions must be issue-focused, and they are being screened as we speak in Brian's office for relevance and duplication. So with that, I'm going to ask each of the candidates to simply introduce themselves and their district. And we'll start with Karen, and we'll go down the line accordingly. And here comes your microphone.
Okay. Are we reading our opening statement, or you just want to?
No, this is simple introductions, and then we'll do openings. Thank you for asking.
Good evening, my name is Karen Cornett, and I'm from Trustee Area 3.
Anna Dominic, trustee 3.
Noel White, trustee 4.
James Williamson, trustee 4.
I'm Dr. Vanessa Sheldon, trustee area 4.
Good evening, John Girardi, trustee area 5.
Good evening, Eduardo Medina, trustee area 5.
Well, there you go. Since we have the microphone at this end, let's reverse the order in opening statements. Timekeepers, be ready. Again, each of you has 2 minutes. There's a timekeeper here, and there's a gentleman with a card. He will hold a yellow card when you are within the 30-second range, and a red card when it's time to stop. So let's start this now with Eduardo.
Buenas noches, good evening. My name is Eduardo Medina. I'm a candidate for the school district in area 5. I'm Latino, first Latino running for ward. I speak Spanish, and here I am trying to represent my community and help my community. So if you have questions, I'm accessible. I'll make myself accessible, and I'll try to help my community as much as I can, and do whatever it takes to get out there and involved with the community, hand to hand with the parents. And I'm a parent, I'm a bus driver, so here I am, and we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Good evening. Again, my name is John Girardi. I'm running for school board for a couple of reasons. One, education is very important to me. I've made it my profession. Also, I think I have the professional experience and education that will let me represent my community in a very positive manner. Currently, I'm a professor of accounting at College of the Desert. In this capacity, I've come to understand the skill sets students need to go on to higher education. In this capacity, I also work with local industry to assess the abilities and the competencies they need so students can get gainful employment. I'm also a CPA, so I understand financing, reporting, and analysis. I understand municipal financing, budgeting, bond financing, so I have a pretty broad background in that. I also have some community involvement. I'm chairman of the Desert Hot Springs Planning Commission. I was also a spokesperson for the Desert Hot Springs Finance Committee, and it was on that committee that we really brought to light the serious financial trouble the city was in. I'm also past president of the Palm Springs Kiwanis Club, which I enjoy tremendously. On a personal note, I'm a 12-year resident of Desert Hot Springs. I'm a 25-year resident of the district. I lived in Palm Springs before I went to Desert Hot Springs. I live with my best friend Mary and our dog CJ. I have 2 grown children, 2 grown daughters who have gone on and they've established their own families now. And it's a pleasure being here tonight. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm a passionate local educator with over 15 years of teaching experience in both the private and public sector from kindergarten to university level. I'm currently in my 10th year as a professor at College of the Desert, and I also manage my own music teaching studio here in Palm Springs. I've been a member of various educational committees from the local to state level, including the Riverside Community College District Academic Standards Committee, and currently serve on Palm Springs Unified's own Citizens Advisory Board. My experience as a state delegate for the California Teachers Association and the California Community College Association has given me experience in managing a budget, in drafting state legislation, and testifying for this legislation in benefit of education at the state level. My direct connections with Palm Springs Unified include a 5-year teaching history as a teaching artist with the McCallum Theater Institute, where I taught music, theater, visual art, and dance across all the elementary schools in our valley, and provided professional development for the teachers. As a professional harpist, I also bring my harp along into Palm Springs Unified Schools to play for children and to play with the kids. In fact, I concertize with Palm Springs High School musicians across the community. So I believe that you will find me to be the candidate with the most relevant and current educational experience in Trustee Area 4, and I look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Good evening, I'm James Williamson and I'm running for school board. Running for school board is, for me, part of what has been a lifetime commitment to education, to expanding access to education and increasing the quality of education that our children receive. The passion really comes from the fact that I was fortunate to be the first in my family to attend college. And what that does, or what it did for me, was it instilled in me two things. One was a deep appreciation for the value of education. And the second thing was a real commitment to make, or try and make, education available to as many children in our district as possible. I have a great respect for the educators who are currently on our board. I think they do a tremendous job. I believe, though, that I bring and I offer a very unique skill in that I had a 25-year career in finance and management. And PSUSD is a very complex organization with a budget just under $250 million. And I believe that the skills that I would bring to the board will help the board fulfill its fiduciary responsibility. I'm also a resident with very deep community links and linkages, and I believe that the district and the city's governments need to work more closely together, and that I have the skills and the relationships to help that happen. In fact, I've been endorsed by the Mayor of Palm Springs as well as all 4 City Council members because I believe that they understand that I can make and help make those linkages happen. So this evening, I would offer myself as a candidate for school board and suggest that I was the best candidate in this coming election. Thank you. Next will be Noel White.
Good evening. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you this evening. As a member of the school board, I will bring a unique perspective to the school board based upon my experience and background. I've taught kindergarten through high school. I've taught for 38 years in public education. I've taught literally thousands of students and worked with their parents, with school officials, and with communities to better prepare students to be contributing members of society. Over on my table, you will find letters of testimony. I'm very acquainted with the district because I worked for the district for 7 years, most recently at Cathedral City High School, and I was 2010 Teacher of the Year at Cathedral City High School. When I went to Cathedral City High School, there were 60 singers with 2,700 students. When I left, there were 140 singers in 7 years. Our final concert was at Palm Springs High School Auditorium, where 1,000 people attended the event. As a music teacher, I speak from the arts perspective. I am an advocate for music education. I want to see music for primary age kids increased to what it was when I came in 2003, because it got cut during the lean years that we've had, and thank goodness we have more money available. I'm also very interested in athletics, band, choir, debate, those kinds of issues, and I'm also very interested in the career pathways that the district helps prepare students for employment in the Coachella Valley. I would appreciate your vote and your support.
Hi, I am Anna Yavanik. I am a registered nurse. I came from former Yugoslavia over 30 years ago, And as a young girl, I read so much about all the classical books, and I was very much motivated by people who make a difference in the world from age of 8, I would say. And I always said to myself, when I grow up, I just want to become like those people who make a difference in the world. And I lived in different countries, learned many different languages like German, French, and whatnot, Spanish, and so on. And I came to San Francisco, and then 13 years ago I came here. I have a degree from San Francisco State in political science, that was my major. And I was an activist since I came here. There is work to be done any place. Doesn't matter where you are, there are problems. And I am with the California Nurses Association. We've been involved with any activity that you can imagine. With national representation for women, Planned Parenthood, we fought for sex education in school for years and years, and we are still not there. I was petrified to see that we have such a high rate of birth rates that, used to be 500,000 people, 500,000 babies born within months. And that's the reason that we have so many children who live in poverty, because we don't believe in preventing problems before they happen. And I am advocating the children's education all my life. And that's the reason I'm running, because I can bring some fresh ideas, because we do have to enable every child to become successful. We have too many poor kids who need all the help that we can give them. So we need after-school programs that could provide tutorial services for every child when they are in second grade and third grade. The tutorial services we had to the college level, we could really say that we made that long. And for that reason,
I'll ask you to come to close.
We need some European perspective, because we do things a little bit differently. Okay? Thank you for being here tonight.
Can you raise the volume a little bit on that?
Good evening again. My name is Karen Burnett, and I am a current Palm Springs Unified School District Board of Trustee, and I'm running for re-election in Trustee Area 3. I was first elected to the board in 2010 after serving 36 years as a local teacher and principal. The past 16 years, I was the principal of Sunny Sands Elementary School in Cathedral City. I've lived in the area for over 40 years, and both of my daughters attended Palm Springs Unified School District schools and actually graduated from Palm Springs High School. I believe these experiences and my abilities to work collaboratively with the staff and parents, students, and the community to provide quality academic and social programs are an asset to the Board of Education. I would like to thank the boosters for hosting this candidate forum and for their continued support of their children and the performing arts. As a board member, I supported decisions during California's financial crisis that enabled Palm Springs to stay financially stable, maintain excellent student programs without furlough days or shortening the school year like many surrounding districts had to do. During the last 4 years as a board member, I have supported the building of this beautiful building, the Palm Springs High School Performing Arts Building, the renovation of Palm Springs Auditorium. The board has voted over $12 million for that renovation. The remodeling of the Black Box Theater up at Desert Hot Springs High School, the renovation of Cathedral City's High School Little Theater, the hiring of a district's art coordinator, supported the opening and the pathways of the performing arts of Rancho Mirage High School, and building of the first pool. I support our local district's local control accountability plan that focus on programs emphasizing college and career readiness, early literacy, higher level math support technology, English learners, increased graduation rates, school safety, parent involvement, student counseling, and the performing arts. I appreciate your support to continue to serve as a member of the board.
All right, there you have it. There's your opening comments. Again, we did extend invitations to all candidates, and Magdalena has not been able to attend. If she comes, she can join us at any point during tonight's forum. We have so far 6 questions, and the candidates know the first order of events. Who goes first? I'll let the audience know. James will start, followed by Noel, then Vanessa, Magdalena if she shows, then Anna, Karen, Eduardo, and we'll close with John. First question. Are you ready, James? How's that sound? You got a little bit static. Is it too high now? You guys are okay? It's too high. Okay. Thank you, Brian. I think that's better. Yeah? First question for all candidates. Would you please provide us with your background, knowledge, and experience with the arts programs, both visual and performing, at PSUSD? The needs of the various programs and how you would best support these important programs. You want to get the question? And if any of you want me to read it again when it's your turn, just let me know. James, your answer, sir.
I think I'll start with the funding piece. I believe that whenever you talk or speak about expanding programs or introducing new innovative programs, one of the questions that immediately come up is a funding question. How are we going to finance this? Even though our budget has improved, I believe that Sacramento is not going to be the place that we look to fund these programs. I believe that we're going to have to look for different models than we've had in the past. We're going to have to look at private-public partnerships. We're going to have to look at deepening the relationships that we have with city governments and looking for programs where both overlap. We're going to have to look at both small businesses and large corporations and look to them for financing. And here in the Valley, we have a wealth of citizens who have the capacity and the interest to fund these programs. We need to build relationships with these individuals. I believe that's going to be crucial to allow us to move forward. So yeah, that's sorry, and one last thought on that is I have a deep history of community involvement and deep relationships in this community. And I have a proven track record of being able to raise money so that when it comes to actually funding these programs, as a board member, I have those relationships and I will leverage them to the benefit of our students so that we can fund expanded programs for the arts and for music, which I believe need to be built especially in middle school and in elementary schools as well, supported currently as they are in the high schools.
Thank you, James.
One of the unique qualities of Palm Springs community is that it supports the arts. And it's a very, very important part of the fabric of this community. The Palm Springs Unified School District's arts program is exemplary. Is it as robust and as wonderful as we would like it to be? The answer is no. But with the increased effectiveness of the foundation that Ellen is heading up, I see great opportunities for the community, as Mr. Williamson says, to help us finesse the improvement of the arts program. But I do want to assure you that the arts programs that we have are phenomenal in comparison with many of the school districts that surround us in Southern California. And that we have programs and excellent staff in place that do a wonderful job of supporting our students who are so vitally interested in the arts. We have wonderful elementary school programs. I would like to see more. We have wonderful middle school programs, of which some of those folks I recruited, and we have wonderful programs at our 4 comprehensive high schools. There's much to be done, but it's a very bright possibility.
Thank you. I'd like to start my answer by addressing the beginning of the question as to what is my experience and knowledge of Palm Springs Unified Arts programs. As I mentioned in my opening statement, for 5 years I was a teaching artist with the McCallum Theater. So I have been in the elementary classrooms of nearly every elementary school in the district, and I have worked with their music and visual arts faculty in designing specific lessons tailored to works of art that the students would then either go to the McCallum Theater to view, or these works of art would be brought into the school sites. As a professional harpist, I partner with the Steinway Society and with Palm Springs Unified themselves to present concerts in schools for students. And most recently, because I live a mile down the street, I'm closest to Palm Springs High School, and have had the pleasure of working with Palm Springs High School students in the community, being able to concertize with them and teach them about pieces of music that we are discovering together. Last year, we did a concert of a Mozart piano concerto that I turned into a harp concerto, and we took it across the valley. So there are wonderful arts programs in place. There are wonderful community partnerships we have with the McCallum Theater, with the Steinway Society, with Tools for Tomorrow, and countless others. But what we need to implement are core arts programs. We don't have certificated teachers teaching 4th and 5th grade elementary programs. And what I need to do most is talk to the music and arts faculty. What do they need? And let's get it to happen. Thank you.
The funding is always a problem, but we do have resources.
Honey, you may
in
want to
the
hold the
community.
mic higher to your mouth.
We
Just
do
hold it
have-
close to your mouth.
We do have resources in the community. We just have to, get more volunteers. There are lots of people who know how to play ballet, or they know to, sing. It doesn't have to be always playing an instrument, because singing is very important as well, and ballet is very important as well. And I'm sure if we talk to different people in the community, they would volunteer their time, so that way that many more kids in the elementary schools could have these classes. Because when you live in a wealthier county, like I used to live in Marin County, there are lots of stuff done by the volunteers, and of course they have very rich parents who have strong PTA who raise the money. But here we have the same thing. Maybe parents don't have money, but there are lots of businesses and there are many philanthropists in the area who would gladly participate. Because art is very important in the development of children's lives. And we have neglected that for too long. And we cannot continue. We don't have languages, foreign languages, we're even cutting on sports, we're cutting on all the core things that improve the quality of children's life and that give them self-esteem. And that's why we should do anything we can, and I will, apply myself, because I do know people who would love the volunteer. They would love to do that, and we have to engage the community more, because we don't do that. We cannot always say we're going to pay the teachers. We do not have the funding to pay in every school. It would be nice, but I don't think we are able to do it.
The performing arts in our district is alive and well. We have performing arts programs at all of our levels, elementary through high school. We have outstanding music programs at all 4 of our comprehensive high schools, outstanding bands, outstanding music programs. We have performing art programs at all of our high schools, and in our middle schools we have music programs also, and at the elementary level. Can they be expanded, especially in the elementary level? Absolutely. We have a career pathway, a big one at Ranch Mirage High School, where they not only learn performing arts, but they learn the background of what it takes to put on productions, the lighting, the costuming, the staging. We also have wonderful, wonderful community support and community partnerships, not only with College of the Desert, bringing in working artists into our elementary classrooms, but also inviting our kids actually to the McCallum and witnessing on-stage live performances. We also partner with Steinway and with the Palm Springs Art Museum. So I think this is a big push of, and always it has been for the years that I've been on the school board, is the performing arts and supporting it. We also have a wonderful arts coordinator, and her name is Louisa Castrodale, that brings many, many programs, not only into our schools, but also having our kids travel out.
Yes, I agree with most everybody saying the right thing about helping. And so, like I say for myself, I know personally people that will fund some of these programs for the school because we need some of those stuff everywhere. And personally, I know the people that will donate and come and help us out and do whatever they can for the schools and stuff like that. Because I would personally go and do fundraisers for these kids and help them out so we can have some of these programs and our community will have them. So it was not only, I'm not expecting only, a lot of people, they're not only expecting the district. A lot of people will come out and I'll be personally going, knocking doors, asking for their help so they can come out and help us. So some of these programs, they will be back in place even though they were cut, budget cutting and stuff like that. So that's what I can offer and I'll be willing to do, come out and do whatever it takes.
John is our last speaker on this particular question.
The arts program, I believe, is pretty strong in the school district. Is it great? Probably not. We can always improve. But I do think it's pretty strong. We need to focus on targeting students in the younger ages in the elementary schools, getting them exposed to all different types of art, whether it be performing arts or musical arts or visual arts. I know in our school district, in Desert Hot Springs, Desert Sands, our middle school has a very solid music program over there. All three, there's 4 high schools now, but 3 of the 4 high schools have award-winning bands, including Desert Hot Springs. They've won some state championships. I think exposing to students to art is extremely important. There's evidence that it increases, not only does it give them a better appreciation on life, but it increases their performance in the classroom. We see a narrowing of the achievement gap when students are exposed to art programs. And it gives them a different prism, a different lens to look at life and to make decisions. So it's extremely important that we expose them to that. I agree with the public-private partnerships, and we need people that can go and make relationships with those organizations that have the funds that it can invest. Now in Desert Hot Springs, I think the arts are crucial. We are an extremely poor community, as you guys well know. We don't have a movie theater, we don't have a live theater. Our schools could provide entertainment for us if it was set up correctly, and that would be a real asset to our community. Thank you.
That completes our first question. I think they all did very well. You want to give them a round of applause? The candidates, here's your second question. We're going to do this in reverse order. So who came last goes first, and who was first will go last. So it'll be simply your reverse order. Here's the question. Given the large number of students from immigrant parents not fluent in English, how would you engage parents and help their children prepare for and apply for college? Back to you, John.
I believe in that demographic you're talking about, parents are unaware of the process. And so what we have to do is we have to provide programs to educate parents on the process of getting their students into college. There are some programs going on now, but we need to increase those. I met with some parents last Friday, and one of the concerns I heard was that when they were putting these programs on, they didn't have any babysitting so the parents could attend. So we have to find a way to make it easy for parents to attend these programs so they can learn what's necessary to get their children to a higher education. I don't know if this question's coming later, but I do believe in dual language programs. Both sides, Spanish to English and English to Spanish. I think in tomorrow's economy, our students are going to need those skills to be successful. And right now we're English only, and I know there's hurdles that we'd have to overcome. It's more difficult than meets the eye to bring these programs in. But I think it's a discussion we really need to start having at this time and looking for that in the future.
Can you repeat the question from me again?
Given the large number of students from immigrant parents not fluent in English, how would you engage the parents and help their children prepare for and apply for college?
To me, that would be pretty simple, as I think we're like 75% Latinos here. It would be pretty simple for me to speak Spanish to them, go up to them and tell them, hey, make some workshops for them and talk to them in person and tell them, hey, you need to talk to your kids, you need to get more information out there, you know, as it is. I know in the system that we have right now, like John said, it's only in English, and we're over 70% Latinos in these areas. And I see there's not a lot of people who speak Spanish, like bilingual, so they can help them. So that's where I would come pretty handy, because, like I said, I can hand and talk to them personally, make more workshops for them, and explain to them the process, because that's one of the problems, the lack of communication, and they don't know the process, and they get intimidated because they don't speak the language. And as an immigrant myself, I'm an immigrant, I come from parents that don't speak English, and those bilingual classes, those are the ones that make me the way that I am now. It took me a year to learn to speak English, and look where I'm doing now. I'm trying to help my community, that's the reason. And as John said too, our community is really poor over there in the Hot Springs. We have we've been neglected for so long, you know, and it's really sad. And as a bus driver, I picked up kids, they need to go to school and stuff like that. I heard their stories all the time. The only meal that they have, it's what they have at school. And they come from really sad stories. And like I said, I'll come pretty handy on that, and I'll be able to help a lot of these families and meet them in person, and I'll be able to hear whatever they have to say. Thank you.
Our reverse order takes us to Karen and then Anna.
We have done something in the district. Just recently, we hired a parent coordinator to make that outreach to our parents in the community. Although we have increased our graduation rates in our district at our high schools, we still are low in the number of kids that have the necessary requirements to get into a four-year college. It's really important that we start early on in the elementary schools and through middle school and high school, making not only students aware, but parents aware of what it takes to get into colleges or certain careers. Students and parents must be made aware of these A to G requirements, and expanding our district's career pathways, our career technical programs, and our linked learning opportunities will help in this area. We also have prevention specialists through our new LCAP plan that are being in place, and I think it really takes just an outreach at each of our schools, making sure that parents are well aware of what it takes to get into colleges, and that students are well aware. I know they do a pretty good job through our academies, but I would like to see that expanded to all students in the high school level, and especially when kids come in at the freshman level.
You have to have preparatory classes. The wealthy kids in the wealthy areas, or they are going to private school, they have preparatory classes for college. Poor kids don't have the access to preparatory classes. So we offer that in the high school to every student. Then they will be able to understand the process. Many parents, we have to educate the children today how to care themselves. This is a different society we live in. We have many parents who are not equipped to be parents. Many parents who are addicted to drugs, alcohol, and whatnot, and the children are really on their own. So they need all the education that we could provide them. And if we have these tutorial services that I am recommending, in the third grade, there would be no illiterate children who are not able to do these applications themselves. Because I have volunteered in schools for many years, and what I have seen, it's sad. I tried very hard to organize one-to-one tutorial services, but it's very hard to do it to the nonprofit organization, because you have to have schools to work together with nonprofit organizations. We have lots of nonprofits, but everybody's doing their own thing. It's like a babysitting, as opposed to identify the kids who need help and give them the help early enough so they don't drop out, So even if they graduate, many of them, their skills are so poor that they cannot really be candidates for college. And this is, I would recommend, preparatory classes in every high school a year prior to graduating. And then children can educate their parents. That's the time are different now. You know. So that's my opinion.
Thank you, Anna. Would you give the microphone to Vanessa, please? Thank you.
Thank you. There's a lot I want to say about this, so hopefully I can squeeze it into 2 minutes. Let's start with early childhood education. If we're preparing for college, early childhood education is so important. Don't wait till kindergarten. And one of the programs that I would really like to implement that was cut, unfortunately, during the recession is adult education. If students from immigrant families are trying to learn English, what better way to help them succeed than their parents doing it at the same time? And then their parents are also learning English. We also need to reach out to these families. We need to do that by holding meetings not just at the school board office, but in community centers where parents feel at home. We had some very brave students talk at Tuesday's board meeting, some 11 and 12-year-olds. But for us adults, it's very intimidating to walk in and speak to a board. It's much easier if the board comes to the community with the aid of interpreters and helps to convey what parents need to do to help their kids get to college, and also listens to the concerns that the parents have. What does the district do to need to do to assist their kids to get on that path? I fully agree with Mr. Girardi in bilingual education. That is so important in today's age. And I also very much agree with Ms. Cornett in aligning those graduation standards so that students are best prepared for whatever career path they choose. Thank you.
It is a large subject to talk about in 2 minutes. I think the district has made a wonderful commitment to hiring the parent coordinator to help educate parents about the opportunities that they need. At the board meeting on Tuesday night, they recognized the many employees that go out and go to homes, knock on doors, and find out about how children are doing and encourage them to come to school. A program that we already have in place called HAVID, which we have at the high schools, helps those kids that want to go to college but may not necessarily have all of the information. Those programs help them get to the point where they're able to be ready to go to college. I agree A through G needs to be better coordinated. A through G are those courses that colleges accept as credit that's taken in high school that doesn't cost tuition. It's a great deal. I agree that the parents of immigrants' children, the parents need to be trained, and also the children need to be trained. It is a generational thing that we need to work on. But I think the district has done many positive things to increase that ability for parents and kids to get the kind of training they need to succeed in life.
As I mentioned in my introduction, I was fortunate to be the first in my family to go to college. And as a direct result of that, I was one of the initial founding board members of an organization in San Francisco called First Graduate. And First Graduate was a tutoring and mentoring organization for children, Muslim minorities, who would be the first in their families to attend college. Even though I had tremendous support, and many students do, from their parents, parents don't know things like how to help you write that university essay. They don't understand how to do visits to universities. They don't really understand how to support you in making applications. So First Graduate, which became a model, a national model, and has been replicated in a number of series, was a tutoring and mentoring program that started working with students in the 6th grade, and we went all the way through until the 3rd year of college, because the largest dropout rate for students attending college is at the end of the 1st year in college. So you need that support and that mentorship all the way through the process. That's a program that we have a similar program here, but I would like to specifically see First Graduate here. And to bring First Graduate to PSUSD will, as I mentioned earlier, a number of things involve money. And again, I have those relationships that from that actual experience that I can bring here, and I'd like to see that program start, and I'd like to be a major player in helping it happen here. Thank you.
All right, candidates, here's the sequence in the next question. First up will be Anna, followed by Vanessa, then Noel, John, Karen, Magdalena, if she shows, James, and we'll close with Eduardo. The question for you all: given the perennial struggle for school funding, how do you believe funds should be equitably allocated between administration, teachers, academics, sports, and the arts? Anna. Again, if you'd like me to read the question again when it's your turn, just ask.
Oh, yeah, this is a little difficult question because we haven't dealt with the budget, to really know. You have to prioritize, that's all I can say. I think that certain people, their salaries are out of line, living in the district where we live, where the housing is low. You cannot compare the salaries in Los Angeles or San Francisco, where people need, $100,000 or $300,000, and here you can buy a house for $300,000. So I think that some are overpaid, and I do not agree that, that somebody should be paid that high when he could use maybe $10,000, $20,000 of that money to provide some tutorial services for the children who do need help with writing and reading and so on. And so you just have to go piece by piece and know exactly where everything is going. How many, I think the administrative cost overweighs the cost of the teachers, because I think there could be some consolidation. I would, dissect everything and really prioritize, and maybe work with my colleagues and say, if we really care about the children, we have to do, whatever we can to provide the funding for all these programs to work well for everybody. And so this is what I can recommend, because every child matters, and we are leaving too many children behind. We do not have funding to help the ones who really need help. All this testing is based on money, because we should not allow the kids in 2nd grade to be tested. That they are already developing ulcers. I am a nurse and I see what's going on. And in our profession, they're killing us too with rules and regulations that make no sense, have nothing to do with teaching or nursing. So we have to fight to do that right. And I would eliminate, go to Sacramento and fight and say, we're not going to give the test to the kids until 5th grade. In Europe,
And I need you to come to close, please.
okay.
Thank you.
Europeans don't do that. Everybody knows how to read and write.
Vanessa?
Fine.
All right, let's start with salaries. We've obviously just read about the superintendent getting a raise as approved in Tuesday's meeting. I believe that we need to make sure that the salaries for all employees of the Palm Springs Unified School District are competitive to keep the best teachers, the best classified staff, the best administrators, superintendent and assistant superintendents here at the district and not anywhere else. I know that the contract with Palm Springs Teachers Association has expired, and given that we're thankfully not losing money anymore, we're getting it back, let's negotiate and make sure that our teachers have what they need to serve our students best. As far as other programs, arts, sports, you name it, there is a general fund, but there are also specified funds that have their monies designated to be in certain places. We also have a new funding formula, as you may have heard, the local control funding formula. And because Palm Springs Unified has a high percentage of schools with, then again, a high percentage of socioeconomically disadvantaged students, we are given a concentration grant, means that we have the highest tier of money coming in. That money needs to be used to assist these underprivileged students in the best ways possible. And if elected, I look forward to working with the community and my fellow board members to best allocate those funds. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. We'll go to Noel, followed by John, and then to Karen.
It is a twofold question. We're talking about salaries, one. We're talking about priorities, second. The district that I worked in Washington used interest-based bargaining, where the Teamsters, in this case the Teamsters, the teachers, everyone sat down around the table and talked about, this is how much money we have, this is what we can do, and this is what we are interested in accomplishing. There was none of this, well, we gave all the money to the teachers, so the Teamsters gets nothing. It was, everything was out and transparent and clear. That's an approach to bargaining. It is a continuing issue, and as a board member, I would always want to preserve the rights of all of our employees, Teamsters, teachers, professional staff, whatever. Second thing is, with regard to funding for arts and those sorts of things, when you got an arts advocate on the board who constantly reminds the other members on the board, because remember, when you're one of five, you got to get two other people to agree with you before you can spend any money. As an advocate on the board, I would be constantly reminding them how important it is for kids to have music and physical education, because it stimulates their brains in different ways than what happens in the classroom, and it makes them thrive.
Thank you. We'll turn to John, followed by Karen.
I agree a little bit with Anna here. This is a difficult question. When you're dealing with the allocation of finite resources, that can be problematic. You're not going to satisfy everybody. But I do agree that the process should be open. Everybody should be aware of the discussions going on, so nobody's left in the dark. They know why the decisions were made, the reasons behind those. Now, if we're talking about the difference between administration and schools, obviously the lion's share has to go into the classrooms. There's just no question about that. However, I do think we need fairly compensated personnel. You know, you hear out there that there aren't very many jobs these days, but I'm reading that if you're highly skilled, if you got high education, and you're capable and competent, there's a big demand for those individuals. So we're competing to keep our good administrators, our good classified staff, our good faculty. We're competing with a lot of different entities. So we have to compensate them fairly and equitably. As far as prioritizing with the local control funding formula, we're going to be getting a substantial amount of money because of the needs of our schools. And we're just going to have to sit down and brainstorm what is the best way to do that. And the way we do that is we talk to parents. What do parents see are the priorities? We talk to faculty. What does faculty see as the priorities? We talk to our staff. What do they see as priorities? And then we all come together and we form consensus. That's the way it's got to work. We've got to listen to everybody, and we've got to come to a common conclusion that everybody can live with. Some people might not like the decision, but we got to make a decision that's fair to everybody.
Thank you, John. To Karen, all the way at the end. If Magdalena comes, she'll follow. If not, we'll give it to James, and we'll close with Eduardo. Thank you.
I think in making decisions, our kids have to come first. Any kind of decision that is made by a school board or at a school site, it's the first priority is how does it affect kids, And we must offer high-quality educational programs for all of our students. They have to be engaging. All of our students, we have over 23,000 students in the district. They're not all interested in the same thing. So when we go to put together an educational program, we have to look at the needs of all of our students. I think that when we're talking about salaries, we have to be competitive. We want to keep our best teachers, and support staff. They are the first line of defense. They are the ones that interact every single day with our kids. They're in the classroom teaching and making sure our kids are learning. I think also that teachers and support staff, they have to be provided with relevant and ongoing staff development and training, so that they can go back into the classrooms and make sure that our kids are ready for a global community. I think under the new local control funding formula, there is about $19 million extra dollars available, and we did go out in the community and hold meetings to develop our local control accountability plan. And if you go online or ask to see a copy of it, you'll see that it is distributed throughout the district to try to meet the needs of all children. So again, when we're talking about priorities, our kids need to come first when we make decisions.
Thank you. We'll go to James and then followed by Eduardo.
Thank you. So a couple of people have mentioned it's a very complicated question, and I think one of the issues with complicated questions is in the 2-minute time frame, you end up with a very general answer. And also kind of, I think everyone has said roughly the same thing, which is it needs to be an open, transparent process. We need to understand who the stakeholders are in the process and make sure that everyone is involved in the discussion. We also need to appreciate that all of our staff, everyone working in the schools is working in a competitive marketplace, and we are competing with different industries here in the Valley for those skills, and we need to be paying competitively. In terms of kind of arts education and prioritizing how you would spend money, I think the question is, again, it comes back to something Karen mentioned, which is how do we engage our students? What's the most effective way of having our students involved and engaged in the learning process? Because we know that engaged students will learn and engaged students will graduate. So, and I think the arts is one way to engage students. We talked a little about career pathways. Sports is another way. That's how our priorities have to be set. We need to set the end goal of making sure that we are graduating students who are equipped to go into college or to enter the workforce directly with the skills that they need, and work back from there as to how we prioritize it. I apologize for it being a very general answer, but the question really requires a lot more time to get into in any real specificity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, like all the candidates say here, it's a real complicated question, but the main thing that we all agree, I'm pretty sure, is focus on the kids. The main thing is the kids. That's what we're here for, try to make the best decision for the kids. And you just focus on that, try to help the kids, because that's the main thing, you know. Fighting with salaries and all that stuff, we'll leave it to the professionals and just be part of it and listen and see who can be part of it and let the community involved on it so they know, and the kids get them involved on it so they can make a decision and they know what we're talking about. And I think that'll be the best decision, but the main thing is to focus for the kids and for the best of the kids. Thank you.
Okay, we have one more question, and the sequence will be Karen will start, Magdalena would be second if she were here, James will be third, Vanessa will be fourth, fifth will be Eduardo, John, you will be sixth, and Anna will be seventh, and Noel, you'll close. Inasmuch as we are now within 10 minutes of closing the forum before the closing comments, I will ask each of the candidates to answer this question in 1 minute. If you thought 2 is tough, 1, and then we'll try to stay on time. Here's your last question. In light of the fact that the election is only 1 week away, and that 3 of 5 board candidates are up for election, would you please give us your view whether it was ethical for the existing board to renew the superintendent's contract before the new board had an opportunity to review and objectively review their performance? And will you be voting for an equal raise for teachers? Well, there you go, in 1 minute. How's that sound? Good luck to all of you. Let's see how good you are at this. Everybody's watching. Karen, you're the go.
Great question.
6 parts.
6 parts. Well, I'm going to go from the standpoint of one of the persons that voted for a raise. The current board has worked with our superintendent and evaluated Dr. Anderson over the last 3 years. Her contract was due to expire June 30th in 2015. So it was of importance that we evaluate her, which we do every year. We did that in September, and she could retire. And so the board really felt that we needed to make sure that she stayed for the continuity as the district is implementing new programs and systems. And we also needed to align her salary, superintendent's salary, with the other superintendents in the valley.
Thank you. And Magdalena.
And I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody else says.
Yeah, no kidding. We'll now turn to James, followed by Vanessa, and then Eduardo.
Go, yeah. I would have, as a board member, I would have renewed the contract. I think it is important to, for all layers of staff, for the chief executive to have a current contract in place, and it brings certainty to the organization. In terms of the percentage increase, I would have done what the board did as well. The board, in looking at what percentage they should award, looked at the marketplace, looked at what the superintendent in Coachella was making, and made a decision based on that. Similarly, when we go to look at salaries for teachers, we should go through the same process. We should look at the skills that they have, the skills that are required in the marketplace. We are competing with other school districts here, and we need to make sure that we secure the best teachers for our students. So we have to be competitive there.
Wait for it. Breathe. Stay ready. Go.
I believe that the board made a wise decision in renewing Dr. Anderson's contract and keeping a great superintendent here in the district. Although the elections are next week, the new board does not get put into place until December, and I don't believe that any board business should be put off just because there was an election. Other great things happened Tuesday night. It wasn't just Dr. Anderson that got a raise, it was our substitute teachers to make sure that we're paying them as much as Desert Sands is. They also voted on a new pool to be at Cathedral City High School. So things are happening, and new board members or not, we will continue to move forward. For teachers, I agree with Mr. Williamson. We need to use the same process, make sure they're being compensated fairly with districts across the county, and they stay with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Eduardo, followed by John.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna be the only one who says it, but I didn't agree on that raise right now. I should leave it to the new board members. I know they're saying trying to be competitive and everything, but they should put the kids first, because I have been to the schools and I've seen a lot of kids being left behind, and there's a lot of kids that need materials and stuff like that. So I think that they should, her as a superintendent should make a little sacrifice for at least another term and try to put the kids first a little bit, and maybe then hopefully we'll give her whatever we can do for her.
But you know, perception's everything, and I know when boards make decisions like this, the public use these decisions as being interesting, I guess I'll use the term. But I agree, I think the superintendent deserved the increase, and I think the current board in place had the institutional knowledge to evaluate her a lot better than a new board coming in. So they've worked with her, they've seen her skill set, she hadn't had a raise in quite a long time, so I think they made the right decision. As Vanessa said, substitute teachers also got a raise, which was a very positive thing. As far as our current faculty, would I support a raise at the same amount? Well, I know what it's like. I know how hard it is to teach and all the effort and time that goes into it. So I'll tell you, I will work hard to make sure you get as much as this district can afford.
Now to Anna, and then last to Noel. You're all doing very well with the 1 minute allocation.
Yeah, the superintendent is great. The question is not, she's doing an amazing job. It's just amazing. The issue is 9% in my point of view is too high for any of the superintendents because they live in the area where everything is cheap. Housing is cheap, and you have to take in evaluation that we have too many kids who really live in extreme poverty. That's my issue. For example, she would stay even if we didn't give her 9%, because I don't think you would say, well, I'm not going to stay because you're not getting 9% rate. I don't think that's is the issue. The issue is too high, 9%. We never got in the nurseries like 2%, so I got 9%, Well, anyway, that is something that should be evaluated, because I see that all the time. We want to retain the best people. Yes, we will. There are lots of people who are extremely competent, and they work in the nonprofit world for $50,000, and they could make a fortune somewhere else, but they do because that's their heart. So I don't believe that a high salary is a prerequisite to attract people with good skills.
Thank you. And the closing candidate on this question will be Noel.
I think the timing was just a little off. I understand the logic of doing this with the old board because they've worked with her. Everyone agrees that Dr. Anderson does a wonderful job. The amount is competitive, and I agree that we need to compensate our teachers accordingly. They work hard and they do well, and we want to keep and retain the best teachers we can, because in the classroom, the most important person in the classroom is the classroom teacher who teaches children to be wonderful students.
Very good. All right, so before we go to closing comments, I have been asked to read this. We have still a number of questions that the audience would have liked to have gotten responses to. So those in charge think that the question portion of the course was over, but they will have these questions available to each of the candidates, and if they would choose to respond, you can email back to here, and it's psband.org, and they'll then post your responses online so that anyone who wants to follow up on those questions can get more information from you. Okay? All right, so that concludes the question and answer period. How'd you like it? You guys want a sandwich? You're always serve food. All right, so now you're going to get 2 minutes to close. Is that correct? No one's looking at me back there, so I'll assume 2 minutes to close based on my notes. And we're going to go in the following order. Magdalena would have gone first, and she's not here, so we'll go then to John, followed by Eduardo, then Karen, then Noel, James, Anna is 7, and Vanessa, you're the closer. Okay? Got that? So we'll give this first one to John, and then after John, Eduardo, and then Karen. 2 minutes, your closing comments.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, I would like to thank the Booster organization for hosting this event tonight. I think it was well worth it. I would like to thank you, the audience, for being here. The education of our students means that much for you, that you came out, took your personal time to be out here to listen to us, and that's very commendable. I also want to thank these people up here. You guys, campaigning is, I'll say it's just not the most fun thing to do. and I think we're all going to be glad when next Tuesday comes and goes. To my residents in Desert Hot Springs, I tell you, I will be your voice to this board. I will advocate our perceptions and our needs. I will tell them what our opportunities are and what our challenges are. On the other hand, I will be the voice of the board back to you. I will come back and tell you what the issues are. I'll let you know what the decisions were made and why they were made, and we'll seek your input in an honest, open, and transparent manner. To all the residents of this school district, I will be a representative for the entire district. In that regard, I'll work with the superintendent, our assistant superintendents, faculty, to make sure our children are afforded the highest quality education that we possibly can. I believe every child deserves a high quality, well-rounded education, and it is our duty to provide that to them so they are successful in the future, that they become good citizens, and they can contribute to society. Again, I want to thank you very much for this opportunity, and I hope you have a good night.
Eduardo, followed by then Karen.
First of all, yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming out and plus inviting me to come over. But like I said, yeah, I will personally be out there, knocking doors, talking to people, and bringing the information back and forward. Like I said, I'm here donating my time. I'm young, I can go have fun somewhere else, but I decided to get involved in these. And, you know what I mean, try to be a voice and try to make a change. So here I am, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And my people in Desert Hot Springs and the whole district, I'll be accessible anytime you guys want to call me, invite me somewhere, I'll be there. I'll sacrifice time with my daughters and my family to go out there and do whatever it takes to get things done. Thank you.
Next will be Karen, and then Noel.
I too would like to thank everybody for coming tonight and supporting your children and our district. We do have great community support, and that's what makes our district really an outstanding district. I think we need to continue to work as a board and with administration, employee groups, our community, our parents, our students, to make sure that we're providing enriching and engaging programs for all of our students. Not just a few, but make sure that we're hitting the needs of all of them. We also need to increase parent and community members are an essential part of the educational program. They bring a lot to the table. When parents are involved, it really ups the ante for kids to do better in school. So I would encourage all of you, and I'm probably talking to the wrong group, get involved in your schools, support your schools, and make sure that they're providing good education to all of our kids and not just a few. And I do support expanding our career pathways, our technical education, our music program, and I ask for your support on Tuesday. Thank you.
Turn the mic to Noel, followed by James.
The question is, why would a guy that spent 7,000 days of his life in the classroom want to be on the school board? It's very simple. I believe in public education. My friend and colleague at Cathedral City High School has a sign on her window that says, "Make poverty history." And education is the key to that. The reason that this guy wants to be on the school board is because I believe in public education. I spent 38 years in the classroom advocating for students and working with parents to make kids better and to make their lives more fulfilled. I'm not running for any other political office. I should have done that 20 years ago. I'm here to serve this community as an advocate for children and for public education. Join me in supporting the wonderful children that go to this school district, and the many employees that make a difference in their lives every day.
Again, thank you everyone for being here this evening. I think the central question we always need to answer whenever we're faced with a question on school board is, how does this benefit our children? And I can assure you that if you vote for me and I'm on the board, I will answer that question every time I need to make a decision. I'm running for school board because I have a passion for education, and I believe that the skills set that I have will be a great complement to the skills that the current board members have. I bring not only a passion for education, but I bring 25 years of finance and management experience. I bring 25 years of working with various different educational organizations. I bring an ability to build, a proven ability to build public-private partnerships. And I bring strong community links that I believe are essential and will be essential to move our schools forward into the 21st century. So I thank you for your time, and I would appreciate your vote on Tuesday. Thank you.
Anna, and then followed by our closer, Vanessa.
I have been advocating for the children since my child was in school. Now he's a physician, he's all done. And I was appalled to see how many children, I did volunteer in schools a lot, especially in the poor areas. And you saw the kids in the 4th grade and 5th grade, they couldn't read nor write. And their self-esteem was so low. And that's why we have problems with our young people. So I did not understand, why don't we help the kids when they're grade 1 and 2? So I'm going to do everything in my power that we make sure that every child is able to read and write by grade 2, the grade. And then they will be set for life. Because I talked to a child who cannot read, and you could see they looked down all the time. They would not do their homework because they didn't know anything. And somebody told they don't want to do it. They wanted to do it, but they were embarrassed they couldn't do anything. And so we are destroying too many kids' lives because we knew new ideas. And that's why I'm running, because I'm passionate about children. And I had visualized my plan. We had to increase different curriculum. We had to change what we teach the kids. But we are spending too much time in testing that, and the testing is not going to do it. If we could use that money instead of testing them, you know how much money we spend? Millions and millions of dollars for the people who make tests. And use that money to help kids, because you don't need to pass them until grade 5th. And if I will organize the teachers to go to Sacramento and fight and say, we are not going to implement those tests. And that's why I'm running for this seat, because I know together we could make a great difference. If we involve the whole community, public sector, private sector, non-profit, we have lots of resources, but we do not work together. We need to work together. And then every child will be a success story, and that's my goal. Thank you for being here.
I would like to thank the teachers, the parents, the community members, and most importantly, the students for all the hard work that they've put together in creating this forum tonight. So thank you very much, and thank you for having me. I think we need to remember that this is a board of education, and it should be run by educators with the knowledge and experience necessary to create and enact policy that is in the best interest of our students. Because of this, I've received the endorsement of several elected school board members, including Justin Blake from Palm Springs Unified, retired, Wendy Jonathan and Matt Monica from Desert Sands, Vic Scarvata from Hemet Unified School District, and Val Verde trustee member Michael Vargas. I've also received the endorsement of the Central Labor Council of Riverside and San Bernardino counties, in addition to many other unions, the endorsement of College of the Desert trustees Dr. Bonnie Steffen and Aurora Wilson, and community leader and philanthropist of Palm Springs, Harold Matzner. If elected, I will work on bringing equity to the district, making sure that students have access to the very best education possible, regardless of location, socioeconomic status, or ethnicity. I will promote early education and career technical education programs, as they are vital to the success of our students, and also work to bring adult education back. and to align graduation requirements for high schools with entrance requirements for college so that we can assure the best future for our students. As an arts educator myself, I will also continue to promote the future of arts at PSUSD in conjunction with input from the members of the community, such as yourselves being here tonight. Thank you, and please feel free to follow up with me directly should you have further questions.
Well, there you have it. There are your candidates for next week's election. I am very impressed with all of them. I hope you all learned something new about the candidate you had your eye on, and it hopefully will convey into a vote for them next week. There is campaign material by some, if not all, the candidates on the tables. I'm sure all of them will remain afterwards to engage with you, to have private dialogue and answer any further questions you have. I want to thank all of you who have come. I want to again thank all of the candidates who took the time to be here tonight, and more importantly, to take the challenge of running, to stand out of the foxhole, as I used to say in the old days, and run towards the enemy and try to save our community. So I applaud each of you for trying that. Someone mentioned you're not going to see your kids and you'll do that. I assure you, if you win any position as an elected official, your personal life is all but over. Even when you're out of office, it still follows you around. But it's still very worth it. Election day is next Tuesday. Please get out and vote. We have some closing comments by somebody here that wanted to say something. You want to come up here and say something? You want this one? You want that one? We have mics everywhere.
This one. Great.
You're not going to dance, are you?
I'm not. I'm Brian Nicholson. I'm the Director of Bands here at Palm Springs High School. And before we close tonight, first of all, we'd like to do a photo with all of you, if we may. I want to thank the candidates for coming out tonight. I think this is so important. And this was really a community project. We have our Junior Statesmen of America members who are here helping tonight. We had members of our staff that came to help, and the band boosters here at Palm Springs High School. Denise Shager-Jansen and Patsy Noble, our band booster president, really spent a lot of time putting this together on top of a very busy schedule that we've had this month. And so thank you very much to them. And to Will Kleindienst, wonderful to see you again, sir. And welcome back to the band boosters. So, and also to all of you for taking time out to come here this evening. I think this is extremely important, and we appreciate so much your views tonight, and to help everybody in this community make a thoughtful and correct decision in terms of our new board. And thanks to the photographers and the members of the media that are here. I understand this is going to be put on YouTube so that other people that may not have been able to make it tonight will also have an opportunity to hear your responses. And we will be giving you those other questions. Should you care to answer them, we'll post them on our web page. So thank you all for coming out. Thank you so much, and have a great evening, and don't forget to vote on Tuesday. Thanks very much.